great state of Alabama for teeing up that EMP question. You beat me to it. So we'll just go down the line, starting with you, Mr. Cancel. First question, in your expert opinion, is an EMP a serious threat to our national infrastructure, particularly our electric grid? Yes or no?
Well, yes, but it depends on the type of EMP event that you're talking about. And so I would draw your attention to the EPRI report that was issued in 2019 that does a very good job of sort of categorizing the various EMP events, including the Carrington level type event that was mentioned, but also talks about less impactful events, and also what can be done to sort of help prevent that. The other thing I'd offer is that the electricity industry has been studying this problem for a while now, and some utilities have been making substantial investments in hardening their infrastructure to protect against this. So sorry for a longer answer, but I thought it was important to mention that.
So a yes for Mr. Cancel, down the line.
I would agree with Mr. Cancel. It exists in the world. It's on the table. It's a possibility. The EPRI study and the engineering that's went around it has identified some ways that we weren't aware of before where there are some reasonable hardening approaches that can be employed.
Thank you, Mr. Walker. I apologize. Short answer.
It's a very complex question, and I think it's highly dependent upon a number of different scenarios to play out. But the EPRI report, as Mr. Cancel noted, highlights that it is a threat. So I'll go with a yes.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Stockton.
Yes, and the best way to manage this threat is to have an overwhelming nuclear deterrent.
I appreciate that. I'm going to stay with you, Mr. Cancel, talking about the production of transformers being completely dependent on a global supply chain and some of the issues that we see with the minerals and the components being mined and manufactured in places like China. In my mind, that's a problem. So would regulatory reform be the most immediate and impactful thing that we can do in Congress to draw those critical elements back into production domestically for our supply chain for things like transformers?
So I'll say yes, but I do think it's what we mentioned before, that taking a look at this strategically to ensure reliability across the grid and in the transmission system and the distribution systems is really the discussion that needs to take place to do that.
Thank you. Mr. Walker, same question to you as quick as you can.
I do not believe that critical minerals that you're referencing are used widely in the development of transformers, so therefore they wouldn't really be applicable for
How about
slowing
inputs?
down. How about what?
Inputs in general.
You know, there's significant capability in this country to manufacture transformers, both distribution and large power transformers. It requires money, it requires investment, and by the federal government in the ability to put a stake in the ground with regard to what we believe is right. So we've talked about for years having a program for spare large power transformers in the United States. Heretofore, we have not established that in any meaningful way. And so we cannot produce in this country large power transformers that are over 450 megawatts because there's really not a market, and we've been buying we've been involved with a economic warfare, if you will, with places like China,
Yeah.
who grossly underpriced their large power transformers.
Absolutely.
And utilities throughout the United States, especially the federal governments, are forced through procurement laws to actually buy them.
Right.
So we've created a foreign market for these, and it's not economical, and we've driven down the profit margins in the United States such that it's just not a economically viable business.
Well, and I'm running short on time, so I want to get to you, Mr. Stockton. You mentioned something very interesting, AI. We have seen an explosion here in the last couple of years of the utilization of AI and what that means, not just for one sector, but all various industries. Certainly, adversaries like China would use this in an extraordinarily aggressive way. How can we utilize AI in a defensive means to protect and bolster firewalls and protect the grid?
The grid is already highly automated in many respects because of the speed with which operational decisions need to be made. We need now to begin to explore how we can harness these AI tools to further enhance our defenses and avoid the trap of relying on AI when China may be able to compromise those same tools.
Absolutely. My time has expired, so I will submit the remainder of my questions for the record. I appreciate you guys. Thank you. I yield back.